right. Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Talk About It Live with Frank and Manny. How y'all doing this morning?
Hey, brother. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. So we got a nice topic program going on for you this morning. We got a special guest with us, retired Border Patrol agent, Congressional candidate Aizar Cavazos is out of Edinburgh, Texas. So he's going to be joining us here in about a minute or two. And so we had our tacos already this morning, so we had our nice discussion. But I'm still working on my coffee there, Frank. So
Yeah, I still got some coffee, man. I'm good. I have my tacos good. Thank God.
amen, amen. And so it's still a little cool outside this morning, but I really I like the cold weather, but not the freezing weather.
Yeah, I could never be a northern border kind of person unless, maybe if I was born and raised there. But yeah, definitely down here, a wind starts blowing and people break out with their jackets and everything. But it's good. It's a little bit of a reminder that there's seasons per se, and we're fixing to go into spring. And I just can't help but think about God's goodness, Manny. God's goodness in that He reminds us that no matter what season you're in right now, no matter what where you find yourself in life right now, God is with you. God loves you. He's watching over you, your family, your concerns. Just make them known to God. He hears your prayers. He answers your prayers because He loves you. So sometimes the storms of life come in. We just got to weather those storms. Remember that He walked on the waves for us, and the season, it too shall pass.
I mean, very good. One of my favorite Psalms, one of my favorite sayings of the Psalms is that our Lord is above the flood. He's above the flood, and so I love that piece of scripture because it reminds me that even though we may not see certain things happening, we know that God is in control. Even though it may not, we don't see the outcome. Ultimately we know that all things work together for the good, and I have to believe that.
Yep.
And I always tell people, the greatest gift that we have is, for me, is the salvation that I have in Messiah Yeshua. So even in this world, if I don't see any miracles, if I don't see any goodness in this world, I know one thing is for certain, is that I'm going to spend eternity with my Savior and my King.
Amen, bro. That's good stuff there, folks. And so we just want to encourage you this morning. Our life here on this earth, we're going through it. And as believers, as people of faith, we got to hold on to that. Put on that armor of light. Put on that armor of truth. And so that's what we're about here today, Manny. That's what our show is, to bring you truth. We're retired agents, but we're also residents of this border regions. We're Tejanos who love Texas, love America, love our freedom. And so we are on a campaign of awareness. We have to educate, sound the alarm, create awareness, and encourage people to get active, to get involved. This is your state. This is your country. It is not just, your future here, but it's your children and your children's future. And as American patriots, as conservative warriors, that's what we're about. And so I'm excited to have with us Aizar this morning, who is a retired Border Patrol agent, who's living down in the Rio Grande Valley, which has been at the epicenter of so much of what is happening, ever since the Biden administration came in. And traditionally, it's been, a heavy traffic area for the Border Patrol. But Aizar, welcome aboard, brother. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I was listening to your words there, man. I pretty much agree with everything you're saying. And, we speak the same language. All of us were Border Patrol agents. We wore the same uniform proudly. And, I think it's great what you guys are doing to make sure that the truth comes out, because a lot of people are just, they're putting party over country. And
Yep.
I think we need to make sure that we get the truth out to everybody. There's a lot of censorship going on, and people need to find out the truth out there.
That's totally correct. There is a full scale, I'll call it attack, movement against people who want the truth out there, who are willing to speak the truth. And Aizar, when you start speaking truth, it's going to make you a target. People want conformity. They want, people to just roll over and do as they're told. And man, we're born in the greatest nation on the face of the earth, which was birthed through the crucible of fire. our founding fathers were ready to lay it down, and many people did. Many patriots, colonists laid down their life. And then here in Texas, we are a land of independence, man. We're a fiercely independent people. And so we're not going to bow down to any master but the Lord Jesus Christ, man.
Amen.
And so we're ready to fight. And I'm glad you got into the fight down there in Congressional District 15. Aizar, can you tell us a little bit about, what motivated you? You could have just retired from the Border Patrol, man. You could have just, you're down there by South Body Island. You could have just spent your days on the beach. Why are you involved in the political arena, which as well as I do, can get downright dirty and nasty? What involved you?
Well, let me start out with a little background, and definitely I got in with the Border Patrol in 1994. My original duty station was San Diego, and I moved around quite a bit. El Centro, Nogales, Valfurrias, went up to Washington, D.C. for 3 years, and then came back to the Valley and worked all along the Rio Grande River. And the last couple of years, I got a great opportunity to get detailed to the Foreign Operations Branch, so I got to work in Mexico as well. So it was an eye-opening experience. I got to see all the illegal aliens that are funneling in from South and Central America into Tapachula, Chiapas, Mexico. And they have a big detention center there. So it was our job to go interview them and run record checks and then send them off to Washington so they can do further checks up there. So there was a lot of people from Pakistan, India. A lot of these people think it's just people coming in from Mexico and Central America, but no, there's a lot of dangerous people that are on the terror watch list that the FBI is looking for. So, but what motivated me to answer your question? I mean, like you said, I was retired and talking it over with my wife, and all this border crisis that was going on, and so since I consider myself, along with you guys, border security experts, I said, hey, I'm gonna give this a shot because we need to definitely fix the border crisis. And I figure, well, with my experience, I know how to fix it. If I go to Washington, and I'll implement it, and I'll negotiate with everybody out there. But ultimately, we need to leave it to the experts.
Yes.
Kind of sort of like when Trump decided to build a wall.
Right.
He went over to the border, and he talked to the chiefs and the Border Patrol agents, and he said, "What do you guys need? What kind of wall do you need?" He said, I need a 30-foot wall. I need it to go 6 feet underground with concrete to prevent some of the tunneling. I need to be able to see south into Mexico. So they wanted to get situational awareness of all the landscape to look into Mexico to see what's coming their way. So I think that's what we need to do. Leave it to the experts to try to fix the problem.
I think a lot of people don't realize, Isaiah, that President Trump actually did come down to the border, talked with Border Patrol agents to get our point of view on how to secure the border. Of course, who would know better, right, than Border Patrol agents, on how to secure the border. Frank is 30 years retired. I was 25 years retired. You're over 25 years retired Border Patrol. One of the big reasons Frank and I continue to do this program as well is because just like you, we want to bring awareness of what is happening to our country. In my 25 years of the Border Patrol, when I first joined, I'm sure it was like this with you as well. We had a lot of, it was a different type of illegal alien that was coming across, in my opinion, when I first joined the Border Patrol. It was kind of a cat and mouse game. Now we had drugs coming in. We know that people from special interest countries were coming in, but it wasn't like this. Where we're just getting this influx of I think this past statistic I read, 121 countries.
Yeah.
This past few weeks have come into our nation unchallenged.
Yeah.
Unchallenged.
Yeah, we got all kinds of folks. In the past, it would have been a big deal, Aizar. This. Having served forward deployed down in Mexico. You were telling us a little bit about your deployment history. You saw, and you said it right now, you saw a lot of what in the past would have really caused a lot of concern. Special interest aliens and potential terrorists, and so now I think the flood has been so overwhelming. Our agents are just almost numb. They're desensitized. Yeah, they're still vigilant. They're still out there watching. But as well as I do that they play that trick where they'll send a large group of people in one way, and somewhere else where the resources have been depleted, they'll bring through some drugs. But also of concern to Americans, what should be of concern, is that very evil, very deadly, dangerous people are also getting into our country, and we have no way of knowing that other than through intelligence, some reporting, and of course you haven't been forward deployed. You saw intel. You dealt with your with Mexican counterparts in the government of Mexico. You're running in a very contested race here, Aizar. I mean, you were telling us there's 9 or 10 candidates, and if you could talk to, and you are talking to an audience, and this will get replayed, and certainly we'll post it out there. But what sets you apart from the field of Republican candidates? What makes you distinct, and why are you the best qualified for the role of congressman in a border district as a retired border patrol agent? I mean, that's one answer right there off the bat. Yeah. But what are your thoughts on what sets you apart?
Well, yeah, thank you for the question. I think, believe it or not, the fact that I'm not a career politician, I think that's going to help me. A lot of the people that are in the field running, they ran several times, and I think people are pretty much, I wouldn't say getting tired of them, but they already know the game. They know what they're doing. And for me, it's a fresh start. And I got to say, man, the number one issue right now is the border security. So that's the number one reason I decided to run. I said, man, let me try to put my expertise to work. Yeah. And I know what we need to fix the border. We need the right personnel. We need the right technology. We need the right infrastructure. But critically important, we need the right policies in place. President Trump had the right policies in place. He had the Remain in Mexico policy. Of course, as you guys well know, anybody requesting asylum had to wait in Mexico for their court hearing. And then he got rid of the catch and release. And so those two policies alone served as a big deterrent, and it provided a big disincentive for anybody to come in illegally into the U.S. It was like flashing a red light to South and Central America and really the rest of the world that, the border is closed. We're not going to let you in. And if you happen to come in, we're going to deport you. We're going to arrest you and deport you. So now when Biden came in, he, as you know, got rid of all the policies. And instead of a red light, now we got a green light flashing all over the world. The border is wide open. And it's a very dangerous thing. We got drugs coming in, a lot of fentanyl coming in. As you know, like you mentioned, the dangerous people, the gotaways. I believe the estimate is up to 400,000 gotaways. Those are the hardcore, criminal aliens, the possible terrorists, and MS-13 and everybody else in there. Those are the ones that do not want to get apprehended. And so those guys are the ones that might be planning the next terrorist attack. There might be someone right now planning it.
Yeah, and we know that a lot of these gangs from Mexico, from Central America, from South America have been working along with Islamic terrorist organizations over the years.
Hezbollah,
Hamas. We know that they've been coming and infiltrating. Years ago, it used to be through the northern border. Because that was the most unsecure border in our nation. But now it's like they got a free pass. They got a free pass to come through the southern border. A lot of people, like you said earlier, a lot of people think that it's just Mexicans coming across, but the reality is that's reduced in great numbers. Most of the Mexicans here that are coming across illegally in Del Rio sector anywhere are getting sent back. And I'm pretty sure it's that way over there in the valley, right? That they're mostly getting sent back. But the ones from other countries, the OTMs from other countries, other than Mexicans, are getting released. The majority of them are getting released into this country, unchallenged.
And there's no way of knowing. I heard you throw out the 400,000 person, got away. That and as well as I do, those are best guess.
That's a conservative number, very conservative number.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, Aizar. But look, let's kind of. You're the only agent running in this field, retired border patrol agent running in the Republican Party in the district, Congressional District 15. You're down in the Rio Grande Valley, so let's. And so it's certainly well established now. You know what you're talking about, and you've you've served down in Mexico. You have real world experience, which none of the other candidates have, as far as dealing with border security, national security, and the allocation of manpower, resources, the strategies and techniques that are needed to secure the border. That's established. But let's move into a little bit different, dynamic here. You're down in the Rio Grande Valley, which is, predominantly, has been for many years, or have been Democrat strongholds. But then a guy by the name of Donald Trump comes in 2016, stirs it up, and he strikes a chord with our fellow Americans, our fellow Texans, the Tejanos of the border region. He strikes a chord with him. And, it's because of his patriotism, his love for America, and quite honestly, because of his cajones, man, his cajones, he really struck a chord with Tejanos down there who I, as I said earlier, we love our freedom, we love America, we love Texas, and we will fight to the death for our home. This is our home. And so what are you seeing down there in the RGV, which has been a cradle of Democrats for a long time, but he stirred it up, he took over Starr County, he turned it red. What are you seeing and hearing from your fellow Texans, many of them who have the same conservative values we do? We do as Republicans, as conservatives, as patriots. What are you hearing about what Biden is doing to our country? What feedback are you getting down there?
Yeah, I'm talking to a lot of people on the campaign trail. I was talking to elderly couple at one of the local establishments, and just this was before actually I filed. I was just thinking of. I said, "You guys vote here." This was in Edinburgh. Goes, yeah. You guys, just to get an idea, are you guys for border security? And they said yes. How about low taxes? You guys, yeah. I don't like taxes. How about a strong military? Yes. How about the Constitution and our freedom? Everything was yes. And I said, hey, don't you realize that you're pretty much siding with the Republicans? That's the platform. He goes, man, I think I've been a Republican all my life. I never knew it. So I think here in the Valley, there's a lot of conservatives that they just grew up Democrat because that's all there was. Like they said, if you have a pulse and you live in the Valley, more than likely you're a Democrat. But like you said, to your point, it's changing. We got a trend going. I think a lot of people are waking up. They're seeing all the disasters that are going on right now with Biden there. The inflation is out of control. We got $3 gas, and then in California we got $5 and $6 in Florida.
Crazy.
It's way out of control. And all this disasters like the border security and the crime rate is way up all over the U.S. All these things are pretty much man-made crises by Biden. Like Trump had said on the border, he had said, man, all that Biden needed to do was go to the beach and relax, and everything would have been good. But he decided to change everything. So I think, to answer your question, a lot of people down here are just finally waking up and seeing the news and watching the gas prices go up and watching the illegal in and the drugs and the crime. They killed those 2 police officers out there in New York. And then last week they killed another police officer in Houston. I think it was an illegal alien that killed that poor guy in Houston.
Yes.
So they're finally waking up to all these things. Even foreign affairs, they see how we left Afghanistan. We left all the $85 billion worth of military equipment there at the hands of terrorists. Yep. And then we left American citizens behind enemy lines at the hands.
And there's still like 9,000 left over there. 9,000 Americans left over there in Afghanistan.
So I think both people from all walks of life, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, they're just finally fed up, and I think they're looking at somebody that's like myself, that's not a career politician, and I think I have a real good chance because they're tired of the career guys that are going to go to Washington and not even listen to their constituents. I think down here, especially in District 15, we've had a big problem over the years with people getting elected, and it's what they call an incumbency factor. They get elected, and that's it. They stay there for 35 years, and they don't even campaign, but they keep on winning.
Yeah.
So I think we need term limits, and so I think I got that going for me, and I think I'm going to fare pretty well because all the other candidates, nobody wear the uniform. They can talk about border security all they want, but they don't know. They're not gonna know what to do. And I've actually worked it. I've experienced it, and I've known all the contacts nationwide. So I'll negotiate with anybody. I'll go to Washington, but ultimately, I'm going to tell them, look, my bosses are in District 15. They're the ones that are going to tell me, I'm their voice there. So whatever they want, I'm going to check with them.
Yeah, and so a couple of interesting things are, man. I can almost envision your forums there. Everybody can get up and talk, Aizar, and you're almost like wanting to be the last one because you could say, yeah, you all heard them talk about the border, visit the border maybe once or twice. Yeah, maybe a couple of them live on the border, but I could almost be in your shoes and say, I worked the border.
Right.
I live that life. I know the men and women who are down there. And I've seen the good and the bad on the border. There's stories that people will never ever know. But so right off the bat, man, you've got a crowded field, and so I'm thinking, okay, strategically, 9 people, ain't nobody gonna step up and take 50%, bro. It's gonna be a runoff there. It's gonna probably be a runoff, and so, man, I'm hoping, Aizar, that you can get into that runoff. And we know that Kevin McCarthy, the establishment Rhino portion of our party, has been. They saw the opportunity in the Rio Grande Valley. There were people that were trailblazers down in the valley, folks. You need to know this. The Republican Party of Texas had pretty much written off the Rio Grande Valley as a Democrat stronghold. But then there were people that started going down there and did not believe that because they knew what we knew. I was born in South Texas. I was born in McAllen, raised in Alamo. I knew that we're not all, socialists at heart. I know that we're not, Marxists and, want, just the eternal, universal, government handouts. We have pride in working. I mean, this story down there. Having lived down there, Aizar, a lot of folks in the Rio Grande Valley picked themselves up by their bootstraps. There were migrant families that would go up north all the time and work, and they worked in las labores, piscando in the fields, picking crops. Hard work ethic is what it's part of the Rio Grande Valley, and so. It is an insult, and it should be an insult to Republicans, to conservatives, to patriots in the Rio Grande Valley that you got the likes of Kevin McCarthy. The minority leader wants to be the majority leader, but he is the most liberal voting Republican in Congress, and he wants to be the Speaker of the House, and he is running around the valley endorsing people. And I said it before, and I know I took some heat, about saying this. If a person has been endorsed by Kevin McCarthy, that's a person not to vote for. It doesn't matter, how much they've been out there, they're attending these parties and making a big noise. If they have sold out to Kevin McCarthy, folks, especially down there in the Rio Grande Valley, I'm just going to tell you here right now, do not vote for that person, because Kevin McCarthy does not have the best intentions for America, does not have the best intentions for Texas. His best intention is for himself. And it's all about prestige, power, and position. And so I just had to throw that out, man. I just had to throw it out.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. No, you're right. There's a lot of rhinos, and they're, you look at the January 6th committee that's looking into that investigation. You got Cheney and Kinzinger. Those guys were hand selected by Pelosi, right? And they threw out the real true conservatives like Jim Banks and the other.
Jim Jordan was going to be on that.
Jim Jordan.
Yep.
Those guys are true patriots, and they were going to actually do a real investigation. Now we got these folks on the committee, all of them voted to impeach Trump, every single one of them.
Yeah.
So it's basically a sham investigation with a predetermined outcome. Everybody knows it. The people that really are well versed, they know it's just fake or phony investigation.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, as you guys know, there's a lot of people that actually believe that they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
They believe the hard left and the middle, the Democrats. They think, oh, they're actually investigating this thing, but they're not. It's all predetermined, and hopefully people can see through it, eventually.
I think one of the weaknesses that a lot of people have, especially here, like in Del Rio sector along the border, is that they don't vet their candidates. They don't research their candidates. Like you were saying earlier, there's some people that have fallen into that incumbency factor, that their names just become familiar. Right. And so people are like, oh, I know that name. I'm just going to go and vote for them. But the definition of insanity, right? You keep doing
the same thing over, expecting different results.
And why are the counties on the border the poorest in the nation?
Yeah.
The majority of counties on the Texas border are among the poorest in the nation, and they're run by Democrats. And then the open borders that we have, is this flooding our welfare systems,
Yeah.
our social security systems, medical, all these things. People don't realize that affects this illegal immigration affects all this, and now we have a administration, Washington D.C. that is complicit in all this. They're basically travel agencies for the cartels. We have NGOs. I think I heard this morning that there's over like 30 NGOs here along the border, including some sadly, I'm going to say this, including churches as well, that are assisting these illegal aliens to further their entry into the border. And again, they're acting as travel agencies for the cartels. Over here in Del Rio sector and Del Rio area, we have the National Guard. I'm sure you guys have the National Guard down there. Yeah. Sadly, I'm not crazy about their mission over here. Because it's doing nothing to secure the border. I don't know how it is over there. How you guys feel about it?
Yeah, well, and let me take that drink of coffee there, Aizar. Let me say something real quick, man. I saw you go for your cup there.
Yeah, man, I thought that was go ahead. I thought that was for me, but Frank will take that one, right?
Well, and I will pitch it over to you. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. National Guard is on the border because somebody asked that in our comment thread here. It's optics, folks. It is optics. Yesterday, I was with another congressional candidate down in Eagle Pass, Roland Lopez. Is running out of the Houston area, and people see it. And sadly, it is it's a joke. That they're down there. It's a welcoming committee. That's what the National Guard is doing, and it's being portrayed to the rest of Texas that doesn't live on the border. And so for people like us, Aizar, who live on the border and are dealing with this daily, and even though they don't stay in our area, some people might stay, especially down in the Rio Grande Valley, which is very populated. There's over 1 million people down there. It might be a little bit easier to stick around and just live your entire life on the border, never have to go any further north, past none of the checkpoints down there. But it does impact us because it hits us in the pocketbook. It is our tax dollars, as Manny was saying. And you all are seeing National Guard down there. But let me ask you, Aizar, this question. Are people, see, right now, Governor Abbott, he's hurting. He's hurting because people have awakened. But he seems to have a particular, stronghold or a presence down in the valley. Is that the general sense down there, or are you hearing people, grumbling about Governor Abbott's performance down there? What are you hearing about that?
Well, I haven't. I've heard a lot of positive things because, particularly when it comes to the border, because he's trying to build a fence, and he said it himself, and he's saying, hey, I'm just trying to do what the federal government is not going to do, what the Biden administration has neglected to do. So he's trying to step in and build fence in those areas. And Texas, we don't have our sovereignty. We don't have a Texas, and we don't have a U.S. We don't have, so the real basic thing, obviously, is to control your border, to know who's coming in, who's going out. And that's all it is. It's very basic. And, so there's a lot of stuff going on that that needs to be addressed. So I've heard a lot of good things on Abbott, and I think a lot of people they're fed up with the crime that rate that's going up. A lot of progressive DAs out there, a lot of people going to jail, and then they get released right away with no bail, and then they commit other crimes. A lot of them are illegal aliens. They don't cooperate with the federal government. They turn them over to they just release them into the streets. So I think Abbott is also trying to get tough on crime. People are fed up with that. So uh, you know, it's way out of control. And right now here in the valley, a lot of people just kind of, most of these people coming in, they go up north, so they just, they think it's, the crime is in Houston and in New York, and the people here in the valley, they just kind of, they just see them, but go through. But the reality is that they're loading them up in planes and secretly flying them into big cities like in Florida and they're San Francisco.
Yeah.
They're dropping them off. They don't even notify the local officials that they just drop them off into the communities,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and all at the taxpayer expense. They give them money. They give them the plane ticket, and so it's way out of control.
And sometimes they even have. I was just hearing this morning that a lot of these NGOs even have people assigned to these illegal aliens to ride the buses with them, to get on the transports with them, to guide them further into the country. We all know that that's what coyotes did. That's what the guides did, right? I mean, they came in with the groups. They guided them all the way
Yeah.
to and this is the taxpayer funded
Alien
smuggling.
smuggling, man. Yeah, it's been basically, well, I don't want to say legalized, but it definitely is being sanctioned by the U.S. government. And so, going back to your answer, Azer, look, uh, what I think is that there's a lot of work to be done in the Rio Grande Valley. They've awakened. They come out, but what I mean by the awareness that needs to go on is that uh, just because a person calls themselves a Republican does not mean that they hold to conservative, patriotic, America First principles. And so that we'll see what this primary election does. What the results are from that. But there's gonna be right now, and I know there are groups out there who are trying to sound the alarm and say the Republican Party is in danger of being taken over, just like the Democrat Party was taken over by socialists. And look at where they're headed. I mean, there's a lot of people that cringe. I was watching a documentary on John F. Kennedy, and it's no longer John F. Kennedy's Democrat Party. It is the Marxist Socialist Party. But the Republican Party is in danger as well by the infiltrators, liberals who have come in, progressives who have come in. They want to take God out of the Republican Party. They want to take family values. They want to take faith. I've even seen, where they say God and religion have no place in politics. And, God said to occupy. God said we are Jesus said we are the salt and the light of the earth. So we definitely have a role. And the reason I go into all that is just to say that for our audience, and as this gets replayed, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the Rio Grande Valley and a lot of education that needs to be done about the difference between true conservative patriots and establishment progressives in the Republican Party. And I'll circle back to what I was going to say earlier. Man, if you get in a runoff, Azer, we're going to do what we can to help you out. I hope you're, if not outright, take it. You know, that you'd be the one that's in that runoff, because we do need people with your background. Let me ask you this quick question. So obviously border security is big on your plate, but there are other issues, and you said this are other issues. What would you say are perhaps a couple of your other top priorities should you get elected into Congress? What are you going to look at, besides border security?
Yeah, the thing is, I think we need to get back to the basics. Like I said, I'm pro God, I'm pro life, I'm pro family. The family is very important. A lot of families are broken up and
Hmm.
divorced. It happens, but ultimately it affects the kids, right? So we need to stress, family unity, and the Constitution. A lot of people are just it's under attack, man. The First Amendment, You got people trying to, censor people. If you put out something, I'm not a big social media guy, but if you put out something there on social media and people don't agree with it, they'll block you. As you well know, you got some guy sitting in his office in Silicon Valley looking at it and say, "Hey, that's not true. That's misinformation. Go ahead and block that guy."
Yeah.
I think the American people should be the arbiters of truth, not some executive sitting in some office there. So,
Yeah.
what are they afraid of? If you put something out, let the American people decide whether it's truth or not. And there's a lot of things that were said to be misinformation, and they were blocked. And now all of a sudden, the evidence is coming in, and they realize it's actually true. Like a lot of the stuff on COVID, they said, the virus leaked out of the lab, right? And then they blocked a lot of people. And then now the evidence is coming in, and it's pretty much conventional wisdom that, yeah, everybody, a lot of the experts are agreeing that the virus did indeed leak out of that lab. And then they said, gain of function. They were saying, look, this was gain of function research paid by the American taxpayer. And oh, no, we're going to block that guy. He's spreading misinformation. Well, that also is coming out that, yes, they're saying maybe Fauci was lying to Congress. He was saying that there was no gain of function. But I think a lot of the reports that are coming out is that, yes, we were involved in gain of function, and it was paid by American taxpayers. So, and there's more stuff. So the First Amendment's definitely under attack. You got your Second Amendment, of course, always under attack by the extreme left and the liberals. And so we need to look at the original language of the Constitution, look at the original intent of the framers of the Constitution. They could see into the future. They knew that document was going to be the document that was going to hold us together, separate us from the rest of the world. So
Yes.
that's what I'm going to do. Stress the Constitution. I want to obviously a strong border, strong military. I believe in when Reagan said that we need peace through strength.
Yeah.
It's, really, you see it in the news right now. Putin trying to move into Ukraine because he sees Biden weak right now. If Trump was there with a strong military, I don't think he would be doing these antics. So we need a smaller, more efficient government. Get rid of some of this excess spending. Obviously, it's causing a lot of inflation. The dollar is weak, and we need to cut our taxes. And those are the kind of things I'm going to stress. To answer your question, we need to get back to energy independence. We got a lot of oil here, natural gas in our own backyard, and now we're back to relying on the Middle East again, like in the '70s. So. And I'm going to help our seniors, our veterans, and our law enforcement. I'll be the strongest advocate for law enforcement. A lot of my people that are running against me, they're trying to say they're going to be strong with law enforcement, some big supporters, which a lot of them are. But like we talked about earlier, we're the ones that experienced it. We're the ones that lived it. So nobody's going to be stronger than me, both federal, state, local. I'm going to support all the law enforcement out there.
Very good.
Good stuff, man. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, I was gonna say as well. I think a lot of people don't realize that what happens here in Texas actually affects the rest of the United States. Especially in regards to illegal immigration, what we're seeing here on the border, what we're seeing as far as there's a Democrat who's running for governor here in the state of Texas as well as I don't like to call him Beto or whatever, Francis, but he's running for governor over here. And the sad thing is that he's gaining some momentum over here in the state now. There's a lot of people a lot of liberals that have moved into the state of Texas purposely, to try to turn it blue, and along the border, sadly, it's been for many years, the border has been Democrat and has always voted blue. So amongst Latinos, it's sad at the same time, that I've seen in my own culture that over the years they've just held on to the Democratic Party, mainly out of tradition, it seems like, right?
Yeah, and kind of, going back to what you're saying, and what Manny's saying here, Aizar, we've got. I'm glad to hear you say, yeah, we need to get back to the basics. What built our nation, and we understand. We take an oath to uphold the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. We pledge our not just our word as men, not just our word as Americans, but our honor as men created in the image of God. And yeah, we need to get back to the basics. I totally agree. And the way that they've done, what y'all are talking about, is because they got to our children.
Yeah.
They got into our children's mind, and that's why somebody like Francis over here can get a foothold, because we've had decades, generations of social engineering, cultural conditioning, brainwashing of our children. And so we need to offset that. As you were talking earlier about getting to the basics, I think, I'd love to see you, Aizar, you get into office. This is what I would do if I were to get in. I would love to be a guest speaker. A lot of times, there's elected officials. They'll go to the donors. They'll go to the big money people, etc. But I would think that there's some school districts out there that would love to have, you know, uh, congressmen go in and talk to them. And what better presenter, folks, to the audience that I'm speaking here, that a man like Mr. Cavazos here, who understands the Constitution, has served this nation, undoubtedly has a deep love for our freedoms. Yeah, that's the kind of rep you want. That's the kind of man you want interacting with your children, with our public, because you've heard him speak in here. He has an understanding. Somebody asked her, how do we get more information on your campaign? So real quick, and we'll say it again, and Manny, we'll throw it up there. But how do we get a hold of you? And more importantly, I'll ask it for you. People, it takes money to run. It takes money to run for Congress, and people like Aizar here, they need your support. Look, you may not be running for office yourself. You may not be engaged in the political arena. And I know that times are hard. I know that inflation has hit all of us, what's going on through our country. But now more so, now more than ever, you've got to give, like the widow, your last two little coins. You've got to chip in to a fight, and support people like Aizar here, who's running Congressional District 15. So I'm going to just ask for him, be willing to donate whatever God puts in your heart. The max for a congressional run is $2,900, $2,900. But candidates will take anything they can get, as long as it's from a honorable source. And so, how do people get a hold of you?
Yes, they can go to my website, Cavazosforcongress.com, and they can see. They can go into my Facebook and see, some of the events that I've attended,
Nice.
and they can read my background, my bio, and I get more information there. So, Aizar Cavazos for Congress. But yeah, and I like what you said. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the schools right now with critical race theory. Our kids are our biggest asset. And the thing is that we got to be careful. We got to be active. We got to be involved with our kids. Visit our schools. Make sure that they know that you care as a parent. So I think it's important to make your presence there every once in a while. Go to those meetings and show them, because that's our future, our kids. And if they're very impressionable, so if they're going to teach them the wrong thing, it's going to affect them in the long run. So it's critically important that we visit those schools, and we need to promote school safety, right? There's a lot of stuff going on out there. We want to make sure everybody's safe in school, but so yeah, there's a lot of issues out there. I meant to say something on the National Guard that you mentioned earlier. I did have some experience with them at different stations, and you're 100% right. It's a lot of it is optics. They send them down here, and through no fault of their own, they're just there. A lot of them just sitting there at the patrol station and not really doing much, and that's
Yeah.
our taxpayer money. So a lot of them, they deploy them out to the field, but they don't really have any authority to do anything. So I hate to say it, a lot of times they're just kind of in the way. So I think they need
Yeah.
to look at that. They need to look at that and put them to work. And if not in the field, because if they're not going to give them any authority in the field, Well, put them out there in the, to fix
Or
the vehicle.
yep, or delegate some authority to them, teach them how to process. So we can get
Exactly.
our agents back out in the field, because
That,
there's nobody out there patrolling.
Yeah,
that is exactly right. That would be great to process because that's going to free up, like you said, the agents to actually do their work.
and so that's exactly what you know, being in a congressional role, because a lot of that, in order to be able to do that, in order for, a non, Department of Homeland Security employee to be able to process, there'd have to be, a process for that. And so that's something that can definitely be looked at. You get into a position in Congress where you get together with like-minded folks, people that understand the dynamics of the border regions, the dynamics of enforcing, patrolling, executing the mission on the border. That's important to get people like you into office. And so, folks, there's going to be there is a great awakening that's taking place, in America. We've seen what they're trying to do, and so here you have in Aizar a person who is willing to, set aside, what we all work for in a sense, retirement years, retirement time, to continue his service to our nation, to continue his service to you and to me and to our fellow citizens, our communities. And right now, I'm glad to hear you, not being afraid, to take on the thorny issues, not shying away from the thorny issues. It is optics. I do have to go, and ask this question that has to do with the union, Aizar. You are the former Border Patrol agent in a very crowded Republican field, but yet Brandon Judd, the president of the Border Patrol Union, has endorsed somebody else, and his endorsements, as a former agent myself, I don't think I'd want an endorsement from a union that has endorsed Democrats in the past, that has endorsed, establishment hacks, that has. I don't think I'd want that. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't want that. I want the endorsement of Border Patrol agents. I want the endorsement of their families. I want the endorsement of, other real, Americans who are not in a race or not involved solely for their own purposes. But when you saw that they had endorsed, and we're just going to take it to a personal level here, because we're men, we're human beings, and we're bonded by the Border Patrol, and I'll say it mean green, the mean green color of the Border Patrol. You and I are not that far apart in service. I came in class 230, and you came in what, class 267? Is that correct?
269.
269. And what year was that, Aizar?
1994.
94. And I came in 88. So there's a little bit of separation here. We're old patrol for the most part, and that's a term that our Border Patrol audience out here will understand.
INS days.
Yeah, the INS days, and people will understand that where I'm coming from. In a sense, when that took place, I think that actually points to this dynamic that, folks, you really need to vet your candidates, and you really need to look at these endorsements as they're going out. I started saying it earlier, man. You get into that runoff, we will do everything to help you. We will do everything to help you get elected. Just get into that runoff, brother. If not outright winning it, get into it. There's people that I know will come down to the RGV. They will hold rallies and do everything they can to help you, because for me, in my mind, it's already made up. There's a clear distinction between the establishment and the non-establishment. And brother, you're non-establishment. You are grassroots. You are for the people, of the people. And, I think that, folks right now that for the first time are probably finding out that there's a retired Border Patrol agent running in this race. How would you address that? Because some people will say, well, if he's a retired Border Patrol agent, why didn't the union president, Brandon Judge, he doesn't speak for all the union members. Let me qualify that out there.
Or all the agents.
Yeah, for the agents, because the agents become union members, and they got to pay dues to be in it. But what would be your response to that, Aizar? Hey, boy, if you're an agent, why didn't Brandon Judge, the president of the union, endorse you? That, I know it's a little bit, kind of uncomfortable here, but I do want to get your response to that, man.
That's a good question. I think it's a very valid question. Honestly, well, in my career, I mean, full disclosure, I was never part of the union.
Oh,
I don't know if that's good or bad. When I was in San Diego, a lot of the guys were saying, "Hey, join the union," and I was a new agent. I was there 3 years, and I'm going, "What union?" And I go, "Yeah, we have a union, Border Patrol." Because they're supposed to represent you because management might come down and do some unfair thing and they're going to I said, hey man, you know what, really naive. I said, if I do something wrong, I'll take the punishment, man. Whatever I did wrong, I'll take it. So I was a little bit surprised that there was a union personally because there was my first federal job. But I know as far as why, to answer your question, I don't know. I know they endorsed Monica last time. There was no Border Patrol agents running, and this time, uh, I'm not sure according to her, they endorsed her again. I'm a little surprised that they endorsed candidates when I heard they were endorsing. My understanding was, the first thing that comes to my mind is a Hatch Act. You're an agent, you're supposed to be non-political, not get involved in politics. So in my mind, I see it as, that personally, if I had it my way, I would not, even if I was a member of the union, I would feel a little uncomfortable endorsing any candidate because I'm still in uniform, I'm still an agent. So that's kind of like the way I see it. I mean, if they want to get involved in politics, okay. I mean, who am I to question them? But my stand is, we need to keep politics out of the Border Patrol, right? We need to, and but on their time off, if they want to get involved, of course, that's their time off. But I really don't know. I don't have a good answer for you why they endorsed somebody else instead of me. I can't. I don't have any information to give you. I can't tell you. Oh, this is why they endorsed her. I mean, I guess they're familiar with her. They're familiar with what she wants to do. But I'm sure if I would have a conversation with the union or anybody once like we're having now, I think they would be hard pressed not to endorse me because we she can speak about the border and all the other candidates, but nobody is you're never going to have a stronger advocate for law enforcement than the guy that actually experienced it, the guy that actually lived it. And that's me. I mean, I was out there for 25 years working all over the U.S. And so whether I have their endorsement or not, to me, it's a plus if I do, but if I don't, it's not a big deal for me. I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing. And if they really want a strong advocate for law enforcement, the Border Patrol, everybody, they'll vote for me, whether I got that endorsement or not.
Good answer. So what I'm hearing, bro, is it's really a non-factor for you. And I understand exactly what you're saying because this was a topic of discussion many times. Why do we have a union? There's some management officials que, se les pasa la mano. They get heavy-handed. I get that. But I remember as a first liner, as a supervisor talking to the troops and saying, look, man, if you mess up, fess up. It's better to take some days on the beach than to get fired, or for lying or something like that. And so I agree that, we all get upset and angry when, for instance, Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secretary of DHS, are dipping their hands down to the policy level of Border Patrol operations, law enforcement operations, national security operations. They're dipping all the way down, and they're committing treason. They're committing betrayal to our nation. So we say, hey, law enforcement should be insulated from that. National security entities should be insulated from the politicalization, I guess you could say. But on the other hand, you got a guy like Brandon Judd who has totally politicized, when people say that, the candidates will throw it out there, endorsed by the Border Patrol Union, your Border Patrol Council, people automatically assume that it's the entirety of the Border Patrol
Yeah.
and of the agents and the employees of Border Patrol. And that is not the fact.
Yeah.
That is not the truth. And so I'm glad for your willingness. I appreciate your willingness to tackle on that. I know it can be a little bit thorny, but look, there's millions of Americans that stand with you, Aizar. A lot of people are going to get, are going to get a knowledge of you now. We're going to continue working to help get your message out. Remember, folks, early voting primary season starts up on the 14th, Valentine's Day. And what better way to show your love for America than to vote in people like Aizar, Cavazos down in CD 15, and other freedom-loving, America First conservative warriors out there. Vote for your fellow patriots. Don't hang back. We need you to make good choices in the primary election, which is going to open up here on February 14th.
All right. Well, Aizar, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning. We truly appreciate it. Hope we can get you back on again so we can talk about some more stuff. We had there's some questions coming up in our comments and stuff that maybe we can address in the future. But we truly appreciate you being with us. I pray that you are elected down there as well in the valley in the District 15. We need somebody who's knowledgeable on border security, who's going to fight for our Constitution, who's pro-life, pro-God, pro-family, and we just truly appreciate you being here this morning.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate what you guys do, and you guys are great patriots, and we need more people like you guys.
Amen, bro. And if we ever go down there, we'll definitely try to hook up with you. Go live with you down there and see what's happening down there in the Rio Grande Valley. I go down there every once in a while. I was born in McAllen, raised in Alamo, got a lot of family down there, and we're definitely going to be pushing for you down there. I'll get the word out to them as well.
Thank you, guys, sir. Appreciate it.
God bless you, bro.
God bless you. Take care now. All right, folks, I want to thank you so much for joining us here this morning on Tacobout Live with our special guest, Aizar Cavazos. He is running for Congressional District 15 there in Texas, the Valley there in RGV area. And so I want to make sure that you get out there and help support him.
Get the word out.
Get the word out. So I'm going to throw up his website here real quick before we go. So that way you can know how to get in touch with him as well. There's his website right there on the screen. And it's Aizar Cavazos for Congress.com. You can go over there and help. You can look at what he stands for, look at his priorities, get to know him as well. Again, he's a retired Border Patrol agent, so that means he has the knowledge of what needs to be done on the border.
Exactly. And if you got family down there, you got folks down there, friends, connections, your network, get them plugged in, help him out, and get the word out. That's what's needed above all else is get the word out.
Get the word out. And folks, you can help us get the word out as well on our website, tacoboutalive.com. You can go on there. You can look at our programs as well. We do have a podcast. We are right now on Facebook. We're also on YouTube and Rumble. Later on today, we'll be on Podbean, Spotify, and hanging out with Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's on Spotify as well. So anyway, that's a whole different subject.
Yeah.
But folks, I want to thank you so much for joining us here today. Oh, and I want to put up one more website here real quick before I forget.
Oh, hey, thanks, brother.
Yeah, usborderpatriot.com, right? With Frank, our own Frank Lopez. He is going to be running here. He's going to be running here for District 23. I think we got that camera over there. There we go. There we go. There's a sign for Frank Lopez. Oh, I can put it up here now. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. We got America First. Praise the Lord. America First. And so you can go to his website, to usborderpatriot.com. You can stay connected with him. They can donate to your cause as well, right?
Yeah, and so that's that's my U.S. Border Patriot page. We're working on Frank Lopez Jr. America First Patriot. That's going to be my campaign page out there. But hey, look, folks. When you join up here with us, when you come on our show, and when you listen to what Manny and I say, above all else, I would hope and pray that you would understand we love Texas, we love America, we love our freedom, we believe in the Constitution, we love and serve God Almighty, and so we're just like you. We're concerned about our nation, concerned the direction it's taking, and we're not going to be quiet. We're not going to be quiet, and so that means, speaking the truth. Speak the truth, and let the chips fall where they may, Manny. I mean, this is not a time for holding back. America's in trouble, folks. America is in real trouble. And we cannot be that soldier on the staircase, referring to that Private Ryan, Saving Private Ryan movie. We can't be that soldier on the staircase that's cowering in fear. We have, as America is in trouble upstairs, we have to go and kick in that door and take care of business. We have to fight for America.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep, and if nothing else, bring awareness, folks, to what is happening in your local community. Get involved. Get out there, research your candidates, support those who are true conservatives. Vet your candidates. Follow the money. Look at who's giving them money, where their money is going, where your money is going. And we always recommend as well that if you're going to donate to a candidate, donate directly to the candidate.
Yeah, get it to the candidate. Don't go through any group or PAC or any national organization, because look, folks, you don't know honestly don't know where that money's going to wind up. Go to the candidate's website and find out exactly whether it's a check in the mail, WinRed, Anadot, or whatever the platform they're using, but get it directly to them. Don't go through a middleman. Get it to them.
Amen. Well, folks, I want to thank you so much for joining us here to talk about it live with Frank and Manny. God willing, we'll be here next week, Taco Tuesday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. We look forward to having some more guests on our program as well to keep you informed. And again, we're on Facebook, Rumble, and YouTube. We'll be on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music as well. So please make sure you go and download our podcast later on this afternoon as well. So until then, we'll say God bless you, God bless America, and God bless Texas.
Yep.